We have been experiencing a lot in our country lately, so I wanted to take a minute to hopefully inspire everybody to vote so that we can change the system as we know it. My name is Christian Wise Smith. I stand before you as a candidate for Fulton County District Attorney in this coming election on June 9th. I'm an attorney, I'm a husband, a father, but first and foremost, before I open my mouth, before you know anything about me, you can see that I am a black man. In 1964, Malcolm X delivered a speech titled Ballots or Bullets. He called for a revolution where we overturn the system that was designed to oppress and discriminate and abuse black people and people of color. Here we are 46 years later, and this system of oppression still exists. We have seen recently with the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and so many others throughout time, that this system has not done what it's supposed to do to protect all citizens. Fulton County, we've had problems in our own backyard. Jimmy Atchison was a 21-year-old black man, unarmed, killed by police last year. So it leads me to wonder why our current district attorney was so quick to charge police officers this week during the riots when Jimmy was killed over a year ago, and there has been no grand jury, there's been no investigation, there's been no transparency. I ask you to stand up and take this time to vote out our anger. Let's vote out this system of oppression. It's important that we know the history of our justice system. Emancipation Proclamation was in 1863 that freed slaves. In 1865, the first set of laws were passed called Black Codes that criminalized being black. Essentially, black folks were arrested and abused and victimized simply for being black. The city of Atlanta did not get its first black police officer until 1948. So we're talking about nearly 100 years of a justice system that only saw white men enforcing laws against black people where they were allowed to abuse and discriminate and kill black people behind the badge unchecked. My call for action today is for every DA in this country to stand up and speak out against this racist and abusive and oppressive system that we have lived in for years, that black people have been fighting for equality for generations. It's time for us to not resort to violence, but take our frustrations out on the ballot box. It's time for us to finally unite and treat everybody as if they were created equal. The Fulton County District Attorney's Office has failed us by perpetuating a system of oppression, abuse, and misuse of power. The Atlanta public school prosecution a few years ago was a perfect example of a prosecutor abusing his authority and perpetuating the system of oppression as we know it. All black educators were prosecuted under the RICO Act that was designed in 1970 to combat organized crime through the Organized Crime Act. There have been cheating scandals across the country in other cities and states. No other place led a felony prosecution witch hunt the way we did right here in Fulton County. If we want to change our system, we need to start right here at home in Atlanta at the ballot box. If you are tired of complaining about the changes that need to be made, if you are tired of singing and marching and saying we shall overcome, march to the ballot box. Make the change with your vote. Stand behind a candidate who stands with you, who wants to see the changes for the people, who is bold and progressive and willing to be out here with the people, willing to be transparent, willing to be engaged and accessible and visible. If we are going to uproot racism, not only from our justice system, but from our country, we do it two ways. There are two silver bullets that we can use to kill racism and oppression. First is the ballot box. I can't urge you enough to go vote. Exercise your right, especially if you are black, a right that was difficult to get, that people died for. Exercise that right at the ballot box. The second way is love. We were all created equal. We are all human beings. We all want our children to be safe. We all want to be successful. When we get paid on payday, your money is green just like mine. If you're sad, you cry tears like I cry tears. When you're hungry, you eat the same food that I eat. There are so many more things that keep us connected than there are that divides us. It's time for us to show each other love, to act together as brothers and sisters, and we do that through the ballot box and voting. So on June 9th, I encourage you to vote Christian Wise Smith for Fulton County District Attorney, so that right here in the city of Atlanta, in Fulton County, we can make our justice system justice for all instead of injustice for some. Wise up, vote Christian Wise Smith June 9th. Thank y'all for coming out. Y'all voting on June 9th?